Okay, let's take you to Hainault in East London. There's going to be an update from Louisa Rolfe, Assistant Commissioner. Let's take a listen.
We saw unfold here this morning. I'm pleased we've been joined by partners from London Ambulance Service, London Fire Brigade and Redbridge Council, who are all working closely with us. Our thoughts, of course, remain with the family and friends of the 14-year-old boy who very sadly died here this morning. We will be there to provide every possible support to them and ensure we get them the answers they need. We're also thinking of the 2 members of the public who were injured, as well as brave officers who were stabbed during this incident. The 36-year-old man arrested at the scene is currently in hospital, having suffered injuries when his van collided with a building. He has been arrested on suspicion of murder. At this time, given his injuries, we have been unable to interview him. We know there is speculation about his background, including police contact with him. And despite urgent and extensive checks today, we have found no trace of a prior incident involving him so far, but we will of course continue to make those inquiries. As a matter of urgency, we're trying to understand exactly what happened and why. This was and is a fast-moving and complex incident and investigation, and it will take us some time to establish the facts. This will be our priority in the coming days. With the suspect in custody, we are satisfied there is no threat to the wider community. But this is an incident which has clearly shocked everyone. And over the coming days, you will see a significant police presence in this area. And we'll be remaining here, increasing our patrols and ensuring the community are safe and supported. Please speak to our officers. We are really keen to speak to anyone who witnessed this incident or has relevant information and would ask that they come forward as soon as possible. We are turning our focus to the wider community and in particular how the incident has impacted young people. We've set up a team of local officers specifically to respond to local community concerns. And finally, I would like to take this opportunity to ask people to think very carefully about what they post on social media. There are some graphic images circulating online, and people should consider the impact of those on the families and those most closely affected by this incident. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to begin by saying on behalf of the London Ambulance Service that our thoughts are with all those impacted by this morning's incident and their families. This morning we began to receive 999 calls to our control room suggesting there had been a stabbing in the vicinity of Hainault Underground Station. We dispatched multiple resources including ambulance crews, specialist critical care paramedics and London's Air Ambulance. We declared a significant incident and set up a dedicated operations centre. This allowed us to use our other control rooms to continue to respond to the rest of London. London Ambulance Service worked hard to ensure that the patients involved got the treatment they needed as quickly as possible. Our teams treated 5 patients with a variety of injuries before taking all of them to hospital. Sadly, despite the very best efforts of our teams, a 14-year-old boy has died at hospital. I'd like to pay tribute to LAS colleagues who attended this scene at risk to themselves and to the courage of the police officers injured while protecting the public. I'd also like to thank all our emergency service colleagues who worked alongside us as we responded to this incident. Once again, our thoughts are with the families of those who have been hurt, and on behalf of everyone at the London Ambulance Service, we send our deepest condolences to the friends and family of the young boy who has sadly died.
I'd like to start by saying that the thoughts of everyone at London Fire Brigade are with all those affected by this terrible incident today, particularly the family of the young person who has died and those who have been injured. Firefighters were mobilised early this morning to assist police and London Ambulance Service colleagues at an incident near Hainault Underground Station. Crews were immediately deployed to provide rescue response and assist the emergency service partners in dealing with this incident. We will continue to provide our emergency service colleagues and the Hainault community with our service at this time.
I speak on behalf of Redbridge Council. And of course, our thoughts, our prayers, our hearts go out to those affected by this tragic event this morning, where 4 people are still in hospital injured, and tragically 1 lad is no longer with us today. I also want to thank the officers of the 3 services standing next to me, the police, the London Ambulance Service, the Fire Brigade, who heroically stopped further tragedy from happening. Their quick response and putting themselves in harm's way to stop further tragedy from occurring. It's through their quick thinking that they have managed to salvage something out of today. And of course, we as a council will continue to support the 3 emergency services. We will continue to support the wider Hainault community in the coming weeks and months. We're a strong-knit community, very close-knit, and we will continue to work with our community cohesion work here, and we will be there for our residents, our neighbours, as this goes into the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, an update from the Assistant Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Louisa Rolfe.
I'll now make a short statement as the Member of Parliament for Ilford North. Our whole community will be devastated by the heartbreaking news that a 14-year-old boy was killed in the horrific sword attack in Hainault this morning that saw 4 others injured, including 2 Metropolitan Police officers. I can't imagine what that poor boy's family are going through, and they have my deepest heartfelt condolences. And I know the thoughts and prayers not just of this community, but our whole country. My prayers are also with the other victims of this horrific attack and their loved ones. I particularly want to thank the emergency services for their courageous response, in particular the heroic Metropolitan Police officers who put themselves in harm's way to protect others. They are the best of us, and I know the injuries sustained by the police officers involved will have really affected our whole Metropolitan Police force. So I want to thank all of those officers who are very visible in our community today. I also know there'll be widespread fear and alarm in our community, but the police have made an arrest and are not looking for any other suspects. I'm grateful to the police for their visible and reassuring presence in Hainault today and their commitment to an ongoing presence in the coming days. I came here this afternoon straight from a meeting with the Mayor of London in Ilford, the leader of the London Borough of Redbridge, and have been in regular contact with the Metropolitan Police throughout the day, and will keep local residents updated as best I can. Our community deserves answers about what happened. It is vital that we give the police space to do their work. Anyone with any information or footage should provide this directly to the police via 101, and I would urge people to refrain from speculating or posting footage on social media while we wait for the facts to emerge. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was Wes Streeting, local MP and Shadow Health Secretary, just reiterating what we heard from the officials there. Assistant Commissioner Louisa Rolfe, an official from the London Ambulance and Fire Service, as well as the local councillor Jazz Atwell, bringing in their sort of heartfelt sympathies for those involved, and a brief update on exactly where we are with the investigation. Our correspondent Matthew Thompson is there and was listening into that. So Matthew, look, I think what we did learn from that is that the suspect that's been arrested was injured in the crashing of his vehicle earlier, is in hospital and has not been questioned yet.
That's it. So a few more details, I suppose, as to what went on, but no details as to the key question, I suppose, which is what was the motivation involved in this morning's horrific attack. But what we did learn from that is that the 36-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder, but due to the nature of his injuries, Louisa Rolfe was saying, Assistant Commissioner, they haven't been able to question him yet, and those are injuries we think sustained in the initial crash when the vehicle drove into a house. house. That was the thing that the police were initially called to just before 7 o'clock in the morning this morning. So again, police unable to tell us any more about the motivations behind this potential attack. But also what was interesting in terms of what the Assistant Commissioner said was they had conducted, she described, urgent checks on the individual's background, and they said that they haven't found any evidence of what she described as a prior incident. And that was addressing some rumours that had been swirling in the local area about things that are probably not even worth reporting, but the nature of this individual and his previous contact with police. But she said there that they conducted urgent checks on that and there was no evidence of a prior incident. But clearly still the investigation relatively young in its early stages, and police say that they have got a lot more work to do until they're going to really be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together and answer that key question as to what on earth drove this horrific incident this morning. But the gentleman in question arrested whilst he's still in hospital on suspicion of murder. And not huge updates either on the conditions of the other people who remain in hospital. Of course, there is the tragic news that a 14-year-old boy has lost his life, but we understand that the other 4 people still remain in hospital, 2 members of the public and 2 police officers who we were told earlier would require surgery for their injuries.